everyone. I, Arifat Tanveer, is going to discuss about radio wave propagation in this video today. Let's start with the introduction of radio waves. Radio waves are a type of electromagnetic radiation with wavelengths in the electromagnetic spectrum longer than infrared light. These waves have frequencies as high as 300 GHz to as low as 30 Hz. Radio waves comprises of both electric and magnetic fields. These fields are at right angle to each other and the direction of propagation is at right angle to both fields, which you can see here in this diagram. Now let's know about radio wave propagation, a term used to explain how radio waves behave when they are transmitted or propagated. Radio waves propagate outward from an antenna at the speed of light. In free space, they travel in straight lines, whereas in the atmosphere, they generally travel in curved path. Here in this diagram, you can see that they are traveling curved path in the atmosphere. They are affected by the phenomena of reflection, refraction, diffraction, absorption, polarization, and scattering. Some of the applications of radio wave propagation are radio navigation and operation of radar systems. Next, we have classification of radio waves. Based on frequency, they are classified as very low frequency, medium frequency, high frequency, very high frequency, ultra high frequency, super high frequency, and extremely high frequency. And the frequency ranges are indicated here. Since radio waves have a band of frequencies, there are different modes of propagation. For low range frequency, that is VLF, LF and MF, ground waves are preferred. For mid-range frequencies, that is 2 MHz to 30 MHz, sky waves are preferred. And for high frequency, space waves or line of sight waves are preferred. First, we will discuss about ground wave propagation. It propagates from transmitter to receiver by gliding over the surface of the earth, in which both antennas are close to the surface of earth. It follows the curvature of the earth. Here you can see it clearly in this diagram. Since the ground is not a perfect electrical conductor, ground waves are attenuated as they follow the earth's surface. It must be vertically polarized to prevent short-circuiting the electric component. That is, the electric field component do not come in contact with Earth's surface. This propagation is utilized for short-range communication. Next we have wave tilt. The Earth is not an ideal conductor, so there will remain a tangential component of electric field resulting in wave tilt. It is defined as the change of orientation of the vertically polarized ground wave at the surface of the earth. This occurs due to diffraction. As you can see here in the figure given, that along the direction of the propagation, in the wave fronts, the angle of tilt is increasing. And after some distance from the antenna, wave lies down and dies. Next, field strength at a distance. Radiation from an antenna by means of the ground wave gives rise to a field strength at a distance, which is given by 120 pi HTI over lambda d. If a receiving antenna is now placed at this point, the signal it will receive will be in volts given by V is equal to 120 pi HT HRI over lambda d, where 120 pi is the characteristic impedance of free space, HT is the effective height of transmitting antenna, HR is the effective height of the receiving antenna, I is the antenna current, D is the distance from the transmitting antenna, lambda is the wavelength. Now, sky wave propagation. The sky waves are reflected from ionized layer of atmosphere back down to the earth's surface and is useful for very long range distance communication. They can travel a number of layers back and forth between ionosphere and earth's surface. They are often called as ionospheric wave. The diagram of sky wave propagation is given here. You can see it. Next, we have layers of the ionosphere. The lowest layer is the D layer, which exists around a height of 70 km. This layer can only reflect back during daytime. It reflects only VLF and LF waves. Next, we have the E layer, which exists around the height of 100 km. It reflects medium frequency waves and can absorb high frequency waves. Coming to the next is the F1 layer, which is around the height of 180 kilometers in daytime and combined with the F2 layer at night. Some high frequency waves are reflected by this layer and other pass to the F2 layer. Whereas F2 layer is the most ionized layer and reflect most of the high frequency waves. This was all about this. Next we have critical frequency. It is defined as the highest frequency of wave that will be returned to the earth by that layer having beer beamed normally at it. It is given by Fc is equal to under root 81 into maximum ionization density, that is number of electrons per unit volume. Now, maximum usable frequency. It is defined as the highest frequency at which it is reflected by the ionospheric layer at the angle of incidence other than normal incidence. MUF depends on time, day, distance, direction and solar activity. It is given by critical frequency by cos theta, which is equal to Fc sec theta. Next is skip distance. The minimum distance from the transmitter to the point on ground at which a given frequency will return to the earth by the ionosphere is called skip distance. The formula of skip distance is this, and the diagram for skip distance is given here, where this is the skip distance for this wave third. Next we have space wave propagation. These waves occur within the lower 20 km of the atmosphere, that is troposphere. In this mode of wave propagation, electromagnetic waves after transmitted from transmitting antenna reaches the receiving antenna either directly or after reflection from Earth's surface and tropospheric region, that is direct wave and ground reflected wave or indirect wave. In the figure we see that H-T and H-R are the effective heights of the antenna, and whereas HT and HR are the actual heights of antenna. Now, radio horizon. The radio horizon of an antenna is defined as the distant point's locus at which antenna's direct ray become tangential to planetary surface. You can see here this became tangential to this planetary surface. The radio horizon is given by dt is equal to 4 under root ht. And the same formula naturally applies to the receiving antenna. Thus, the total distance will be given by d is equal to dt plus dr, which is equal to 4 root ht plus 4 root hr, where dt is the distance from transmitting antenna and ht is the height of transmitting antenna above ground in meters, whereas distance was in kilometer. At last, we have tropospheric scatter propagation. It is also known as troposcatter or forward scatter propagation. It is a means of beyond the horizon propagation for UHF signals. In the diagram here we can see that a wave is transmitted and there are two paths with a very small angle between them. This angle is very small and it will be received at the receiver end as shown. These intersect here and here, and this is known as the scatter volume, which is the part of troposphere. Here scattering will take place, and that is scattering takes place and signal is received at the receiver. Some signals are lost, which is known as the lost scatter, and some get reflected back, which is known as the back scatter. And this is the longest path, and this one is the shortest part, same is here. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the video.